Namaskar and welcome to the CST 2022 orientation, global orientation. This is a special session at a special time. We're doing this in the morning in California. Usual classes are at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sundays. So we're doing this to welcome our cohort members from India that are joining in from India. We're going to begin with opening prayers, and I'll then talk us into the session today. So please join me in the opening prayers by sitting straight, sitting upright with the back straight. If you're sitting on a chair, just sit with your back straight, your full foot contact with the floor below, not raised in any manner. Sit with the eyes closed, with your back straight, the back, neck, and head in a straight line. The eyes are gently closed and the expression on the face is relaxed. Relax your shoulders. Relax your belly. Bring your attention into the belly, and as you inhale, let the belly expand. As you exhale, simply let go. Letting go of all your thoughts, all your preoccupations, any outside business for the next 1 hour. Just let go. We're going to chant Om 3 times and then the opening prayer, Sahana Bhavatu. Bring your palms together in Namaskar Mudra at the heart center, pressing the palms together gently, touching the fingers together gently, and gently touching the back of the thumbs into the chest. Bring your attention into the hollow space between the palms, paying attention to any vibration, any sensation, any transfer of energy between the palms. Keep your attention here as we chant Sahana Bhavatu. Exhale completely. Take a deep breath. Inhale. 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 Inhale and chant. Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Take your arms behind you, grab your right wrist with your left hand and breathing in, stretch. Breathing out, bend forward in a deep sense of surrender. Release your hands, come back up, breathing in, and then rub your palms together to generate some heat. Gently cup your eyeballs with the hollow of your palms. Then, blinking, open your eyes and pull your palms back like an open book. Namaskar and welcome to this orientation session, and also welcome to the CST 2022 cohort. My name is Gaurav Rastogi. I am a board member and dean at the Hindu Community Institute. It's a program we started 4 years ago, and we will tell you a little bit more about the institute itself, as well as the Counselor of Hindu Tradition course, which you have joined. I'd like to welcome to today's call a few members of the HCI leadership team that I'd like to introduce to you. We have Kailash Joshi ji. Kailash ji is president. He is, of course, a founder, a board member, and president of Hindu Community Institute. It's an institute that he has founded after 3 decades of founding several other institutions of repute and renown. So Kailash ji, welcome to today's conversation. We have Puneet ji, Dr. Puneet Mahendru, who is a board member. Kailash ji, Puneet ji, and I are resident faculty and as is Mangalaji. Mangala Kumarji is also here. She's a former CHT, former board member, and a resident faculty of at this course. We also have Ganapati ji. Ganapati Swamiji is the registrar. Namaskar. He is the registrar for the course. We have Usha ji, who's the associate dean. She and I are working together. She's a former CHT. Ganpati ji is a CHT, not a former. He is a CHT. And Usha ji is also going on to do her chaplaincy at GTU as we speak. We also have Nand Kishore ji, who you already know. He's the head of the recruitment intake process, and you have probably been most in touch with Nand Kishore ji. Who else do we have in the names that are familiar here? That's what we got so far from our side. Today's agenda is very simple. I'd like to welcome you to the course. We also have Suchitra ji, by the way, who runs our outreach program, also a CHT. We're going to begin with, I'll be requesting Kailash ji to talk to us about HCI and the CHT course. And then I'll request Ganpati ji to talk about the requirements for completing the course. This is an orientation session. After that, I'm going to invite Usha ji to talk to us about the curriculum and the teachers that are involved here. And at the back end, we will leave room for other comments from the board members and Q&A with everyone that is over here. So once again, welcome to today's session. And now I invite Kailash ji to please talk to us for a few minutes about HCI and the CHT course. Kailash ji, please.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you very much. And my hearty welcome to all of you, our cohort 4th incoming scholars. Some have missed it, but I think we'll send them the link so they get oriented. Today our objective is to welcome you one more time, those who have not been into the discussion and the interview process. Welcome you, but also give you a broad idea of HCI, the CHT course, and how we conduct the course and what we expect from you in very open terms. And before I go there, though, I want to also let you know that we are a product in the making. We're not finished product yet. We are all evolving over the last 4 years. It's a learn, serve phenomena that we are all practicing. So HCI is also learning and serving. And so you are coming in as scholars who will be getting your certificate upon completion of all the requirements. But you're also going to be a contributor to building HCI further. That's a very important point to note, that you are part of the architect and the construction of this institution. And we'll tell you about where we are headed, where we want to go, what our vision is. So again, thanks for joining. And I'll just start by saying, what is HCI? HCI actually is an answer, a new answer to an old question. The old question is, what is this 15,000-year-old Vedic tradition that has survived so many ups and downs and upheavals of history and kept that knowledge and wisdom alive so beautifully? So many scriptures, so many books, so many narratives, and so many stories, and that we are all the product of. So that is the question, is how do we carry that on? In India, it was very simple. We lived in a very close-knit community, joint families, all kind of going back and forth and advice and counsel, sometimes unwanted, but that came anyway. Where in the diaspora now, where we live now in so many different countries, in small little islands of our own neighborhoods, we don't have that access to the community and the joint family and that uncle that you could go to and so on and so forth. So how do our future generations maintain that identity of being a Hindu? What makes them a Hindu? What values are they carrying? And how do they see this tradition with pride and joy? I think we missed a lot of those things in our aspirations of careers and bringing up families as we moved to these countries. Like I have lived in the US over 50 years now, but it came to us later that, hey, we need to do something. So HCI is really an answer to that question. One answer, by the way, we are not the only answer. There are a lot of other people working on different approaches. The answer is, if we can get some major aspect of Hindu tradition. In this case, we decided Bhagavad Gita is the best knowledge source and the teachings, and capture some nuggets. And we picked Karma Yoga as the fundamental foundation on which we can build an institution, because we never took the last mile in our tradition, saying, okay, how do you take Karma Yoga and take it to outreach? How do you take it to community service? So fundamentally, that's what we do. We take Karma Yoga and we present it in a form so you become a purveyor of service to those who need it, anywhere, everywhere, anytime. And how do we get that spirit aroused? And how do we give you the protocols of how to serve? So that is what the CST course is all about. We started it successfully, 3 cohorts graduated. You are the 4th cohort. You will be a historical one because we are jumping our numbers big time. Last year we graduated 21, before that 20s last week. This year we're going to go, we may even touch over 100 because we've had some great interest from other countries. So I think this is going to be a historical cohort. We're going to climb a curve. Our ambitions are to create at least 1,000 CSTs in the next, before 2025. And also the big breakthrough we've had this year is that we have become accredited by the most prominent theological university called GTU for admission to the chaplaincy program. Now that's very important. Before this, for a Hindu aspirant to become a chaplain, there was no pathway. You had to go through the Christian routes. They were well established over in their own system, and the Hindus did not fit into that or did not feel comfortable. So for the first time, anyone with a Hindu background who wishes to pursue chaplaincy and serve the community at large as a profession in whatever capacity they want, they can do the CST course. If they're qualified, they go further, go to GTU, get the chaplaincy done. That's a big plus again for this cohort, a big opportunity ahead of us. Okay, now, what is the commitment required for this course? I think you all have been told by our friends and all the documents we've been sending you so far about we have a 24-week, 24 Sunday program, October to June. Actually, there are 40 Sundays. So we'll skip 16 of those because there is some, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Diwali, and all those things. So we pick 24 Sundays selectively. Australia and New Zealand have a second class, by the way. They'll pick their own. And we basically take 1 to 4 hours on those Sundays, specific time. And we take you through a curriculum that Ushaji will talk about a little later. You will get to see probably about 50 people, 60 people teaching you in those 24 Sundays. Each course, you will see 2 or 3 expert faculty members, faculty associates, and you get to see a lot of people and tremendous amount of knowledge coming to you. And so you need to have, on average, in those 9 months, 24 hours of commitment. Just to give you a broad idea, in those 9 months, 12 of those hours are going to be in the classroom or by the instructors, those 4-hour sessions. About 6 hours maximum each month you will require for homework. If you have the discipline not to be delayed, you do it quickly. So 6 hours, that's 18. And then the other 6 hours, we will require you to do some community service from starting this year. That is to pay back your tuition. We call them, you earn OM dollars. Now you're going to hear more about that. Okay, so just remember, you are committing to 24 hours a month on average for those 9 months. What you get in return is a certificate, which is going to become a very prestigious certificate, we hope, because it's being looked upon as a unique opportunity to grow and learn. Your knowledge will expand enormously in many, many fields, from geriatrics to palliative care, to psychology, to counseling, to estate planning, name it. You'll become quite knowledgeable. You'll become quite compassionate. You will also discover your own spirituality. Who are you? What do you want to do? What is the purpose in life? And you develop and you discover an enormous capacity to give and to serve. Okay. So that is in return for those investment of those hours that you have put in. And The other part is that there's no limit to where you can go from here. Again, as I mentioned to you, you can pursue the volunteer services, you can become a chaplain for the rest of your life and serve humanity in that way. So our objective, as I mentioned to you before, we want to have 1,000, a network of 1,000 CHTs, volunteers around the world. We also connect the diaspora countries, like you will see in this cohort. We're going to have 8 countries represented: Australia, New Zealand, US, Canada, Finland, Malaysia, India. And I think so that's going to be a very good way to get to connect with these people. And finally, I want to mention to you that our currency with which we run HCI is, we call them Ohm dollars. We invite these faculty members, they come and teach. We don't pay them US dollars, we pay them Ohm dollars. These are karmic dollars. These are basically, something that goes to their account, karmic accounts. And so, for example, if we had to pay a professor $10,000 to conduct a course, we don't pay the $10,000. They don't send us an invoice. We don't write a check. We just say, yes, thank you very much. We have added $10,000 in your Ohm dollar account. The same principle applies to you. So when you do community service worth $3,000, and that we'll talk about, you have paid back HCI 3,000 Ohm dollars. You're going to hear more about Ohm dollars later. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here and get back to Gauravji. Thank you, Gauravji.
Thank you, Kailash. Now I'd like to request Ganapati ji to please talk to us about the requirements for graduation.
Namaste, Gauravji. Thank you, and namaste to everyone. And good morning and welcome aboard. I want to congratulate all of you here for having started or embarked on this great journey of ours with the goal of community service being our passion and desire to be part of this. So I think this is a great place to get started, and I'm sure you'll all be excited to learn so many things that you're going to be learning. And so I am the registrar at HCI, and I joined in 2018, the first batch. So let me just take a couple of minutes and go through our quickly graduation requirements. And also this will be one of the sessions or part of the first session that I will be presenting again next week. But let me just go through this briefly so you have an idea. First of all, I want to make sure that you all, each of you, submit your, if you have already not done this, your photo ID and a short bio and copy of your degree, highest degree that you have already obtained, and submit these to Nand Kishore ji as soon as possible. These will be required as a part of the requirements of graduation at the end of the course. Please do so. Nand Kishore ji is your contact point, and make sure to take care of these as soon as possible. The requirements for the graduation, we would all of you to be as much as possible be attending the courses live, assuming that you are in the United States or wherever you can attend in an appropriate time from your time zone. So that will be a requirement, and we'll be looking at the attendance and so on. In addition to that, we will also be having homeworks, as Kailash also pointed out. There are 24 sessions, and we suspect, we think there'll be about 22 or 21 of those sessions will have homeworks, and some sessions will have multiple homeworks also. Please make sure to take care of them, and we require at the end of the year 80% of the homeworks having been completed with the passing grade, and they need to be submitted within 2 weeks of the class, finishing of the class. So 2 weeks is your time limit, after which we would like to close out the the LMS system. So you may not be able to submit after that unless you had some prior special agreement with the faculty or the faculty associate. So that's one thing. And then within 4 weeks of the class, a session, the grading will be done of the homework. So unless there is always some exceptions there, but we want to encourage all of you to make sure that you take care of the homework as soon as the class is over, and then you have up to 2 weeks to submit your homework. And you'll always be able to contact somebody, a faculty associate, to help you with any of these things. And again, I will go over these things next week. So that's basically our plan, as well as our requirements in order to get our graduation completed successfully. So with that, I will stop here and let me hand it back to Gauravji. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ganpati-ji. I'd like to request now Usha-ji to talk about the curriculum as well as the teachers that you're going to meet over the next 9 months. Usha-ji, you're on mute, of course.
I have a young guest and she's practicing a violin. So I said, let me be quiet. So namaskar, everybody. It's such a great honor and such a great pleasure to welcome all of you as we kind of are, we're positioned right now after 3 years and many, many years prior to that Gauraji and Kailash-ji and the rest of their group have been working on this, but they brought it to us 3 years ago. And now we're poised to just rocket off to space probably. So you're here at a very, very exciting time for us. And we're very happy. And this year, Kailash briefly touched on Australia, and we are going to probably touch or even exceed 100 students this year. So in preparation for that, we have let me start this way. We have a resident faculty of 6 people who professionally are very, very highly qualified, plus bring a great lot of service and experience. So the combination, every session of theirs will be informative, interesting, something that you'll say, wow, I didn't know that, Plus, in addition to that, about 30, 40 people, they will be inviting professionals or people of renown, to contribute to the sessions to make it more interactive and informative. Like you will learn, so the basics is Bhagavad Gita, right? All of us have touched on it, and what Karma Yoga is, what is service to community. And that's the way we integrate and keep ourselves together, right? So, but in addition to that, what are our samskaras, right? What's important, how important, what's the role of rituals, right? And then meditation, yoga. I mean, all this we know, nutrition. But then in addition to that, you will see there'll be professionals, experts talking about end of life situations, choices you will make, then counseling, it's all over. It's a holistic experience that you'll get, right? Estate planning, financial planning, right? Legal issues, medical directives that you need to have in place, right? How you talk to your children, how you counsel older people, how do you counsel children, what do you look out for in younger children? So many things will kind of bring to you, give you glimpses of. And these experts, the good thing about them is they're always available for follow-up. You can always take questions to them. And we try to make it as interactive as possible. And this year, we're kind of trying to make this we have about 14 or 15 faculty associates. So their job is kind of to be a bridge between you and the faculty and the guest faculty, whoever it is. So any questions, that's the first point of contact for you. You can reach out to them and they'll help you. If they're not able to help you, definitely they'll find somebody who can help you. So we hope that you build a very personal relationship with all your faculty associates, right? And any questions, any concerns you have, I know Ganpati ji, talked about homework. I don't want this to loom as something huge, a big milestone or a rock in front of you or a hill in front of you. Like if you go through the objectives and, take some notes during the presentation itself, then you just clean it up and that's your homework. We are not expecting any essays. It's just a paragraph of 2, just to show us what you're thinking, how you received. The point of the homework is to see how you received the presentation. So please keep that in mind when you're doing the homework, and it should be a pleasant experience, because I promise you, we want you to graduate. Okay. So Kailash will tell you that we want you to graduate. So anything else, Kailash, you want me to add, Gauravji?
I think that's very good. I would say that's wonderful coverage. I think I'm going to touch a little bit on after somewhere down the road about what happens when you do this certificate. What are the possibilities? What are the options for you, Gauravji? And I will touch on that. That's an important thing. But the other good thing about HCI, Usha, you go ahead. Why don't you wrap up, then I'll come back later.
Okay. So pretty much that I think I covered everything that I have to say, I think. So I turn it back to you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think the biggest one point I want you to go back with is we maintain 2 very simple principles. We will always be transparent. Nothing happens at HCI that is kept secret or something that we don't want to tell anybody. You are going to be very much into that transparency. We also respect and welcome every question. No question is small. No question is undesirable. You can question what we do in a very positive way. So please always feel very, very comfortable opening up. And so transparency and open questions are 2 very simple principles that have brought us to this point of success. We are also very proud to be a kind of what do you call the feminine dominated institution. I think about 2/3 of our CHTs, our faculties, our management are majority female. And I think that is something we can be very proud. And that is how I think our tradition has been. Unfortunately, it has not been seen that way. So this has happened automatically. It was not designed. We did not search. I think what happened, all the energy and the empathy that is divided among humanity in the way it is, has simply come and constituted HCI. So we are very, very proud of that. And I want you to always remember that it's very highly respected. We also have, everybody gets a name G as a middle name. So even if you're 9-year-old, you're going to be G. So G is our, we address everyone with that. That is our sign of equality, respect, and affection. So Gauravji, you take it from there.
Thank you, Kailash. I wanted to add a few words as well. In joining this course, the way we look at this course is that we are helping all of us complete our education. We've been taught how to earn money. We've been taught how to calculate things, but we haven't really been taught the most basic part of being human, which is that of serving others with with a selfless attitude. We are inbuilt with that. A major source of our satisfaction is comes from the selfless service we do for others. But we are denied that because we are not educated on that. And through this course, we're hoping that you will acquire that education. And therefore, once you've completed your education, go on to actually drawing all that satisfaction from serving other people with no expectation of return or feedback. I should say that you have entered a time machine. And I think I speak with experience, and other CHTs on this call can confirm this. You are in this meeting the next meeting you will remember is actually at the time of your graduation. Something happens between now and graduation that is hard to describe, but next thing you know, you'll be graduating. And so it's a very fast moving time. The time passes very quickly. HCI, I want to tell you a few more things. We approach the Hindu tradition from a place of strength. We are not a political organization. We're not an advocacy organization. We're not an organization that feels that the tradition is under threat and this and that. We may individually feel that way, but that is not the organizational imperative. We are not driven by fear. We're driven from a place of strength, which is 15, 20,000 years of accumulated wisdom must find a way to transmit itself into the future. And we want to be that way. So we rely upon the rishis and our sages and our ancestors to bring that knowledge to us, and then transmitting it forward to the next 30 generations and so on, as it always has. There are in the Gita many paths to self-realization, to God realization. There is the marg of bhakti, there is the path of jnana, there's the path of meditation, there's also the path of karma yoga. And there are, within the Hindu tradition, schools for every other type of yoga, except what are the schools for karma yoga? So Hindu Community Institute wants to be that school for karma yoga, where we teach the practice that all of us can practice as professionals, as family members, and as members, active members of a society. So it's likely to be the most popular yoga in the sense of, of a path of self-realization. And that's what we want to teach. And why do we want to teach it? Is because our definition of dharma, our understanding of dharma, is that dharma is that which connects society. And the problem with society today is that we are disconnected from each other. We have more loneliness, we have more schisms in the society, and of course fits of outrage and anger spilling all over the internet. That the reversal of that requires a reconnection of each one of us. And that reconnection is dharma. That is our definition of dharma. And so we teach this course in a way that it improves the well-being of society, lok samgraha. And we do that by exploiting our own capacity to serve and help other people. So that's really what we're doing. What's ahead of this course also is that you're looking at a lifetime of service in the community as a volunteer. And if you so like, you can actually train professionally to become a chaplain. In addition, and finally, once you've joined the Sangha, you're in the Sangha and you're welcome and a permanent member of the Sangha as of this moment. So we don't expect you to drop off this community for the rest of your life. And we hope to stay connected with you even long after this course is over, as you're seeing. With that, Mangalaji, I'd like to ask you and Punitji, you if you have things to add, and then Nankishorji, if you have something to add as well.
Thank you, Kailashi. Namaste, everyone. I'm extremely happy to see the cohort 4 coming together, and a very exciting time for us, to start this session. I know that a lot of you have read all about HCI, and when you made yourself a commitment to join the CHT program, many of you probably are going to have a lot of questions. What am I going to get out of this? All the description on paper sounds wonderful. I mean, is this what HCI is going to do to me? I can tell you without a doubt, I was in the very first class of CHT session. I joined with the same kind of, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this. And I can tell you, it is an amazing journey that you're about to embark on. One thing that we need to keep in mind is, for example, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a good friend, I'm a good neighbor. I can wear a lot of those hats, but when I go into the community to serve, there's got to be a method to the madness, right? I can't just jump in and start advising somebody. So basically what you're going to get from HCI is a lot of skills that will prepare you to take your life experience, take all the knowledge you have, take your passion for community service, and maybe, formalize it in such a way that when you go out, you will be able to serve anyone. You will have the confidence to use your skills and knowledge and so on. You're going to learn so much more in the 24 weeks that you're going to spend at HCI. So I would like to welcome all of you. Congratulate each one of you for just having made that commitment to stay with the program, stick with the program. You will come out at the end of the rainbow. There is a pot of gold. Trust me, that's all I can tell you. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you at the classroom. Thank you.
There is also, as Mangalaji said, she did give the speech at the first graduation as on behalf of the CHTs, and she reminded us of the blind men of Hindustan problem, where we there's an elephant, which is the whole course. What the course is continues to evolve over the course of the classes. So we're hoping to give you a little tiny elephant in the first session we do next week. And then you can watch that elephant grow as you feed it with all your love and attention. And now all your homeworks will help you build that elephant for yourself. More on that next week. Puneetji, please.
Namaste, everyone, and welcome. This is indeed a wonderful journey that you're embarking on. And I am absolutely privileged to be a part of that journey. And how you deliver information and guidance to those that you choose to serve, I think I'll have a role to play, hopefully, in that how, because teaching you skills, how to go about the counseling, and also how to understand the person who is in front of you, as well as which approach you're going to take in helping that person, whether it's going to be very direct or less direct, or completely just being more of a presence. So some of those skills is what I'll be talking about. And as Gauravji said, that we are constantly expanding our the curriculum and making it richer. So I'll be sharing with you all, of course, counseling, a little bit about counseling skills and psychology. And this year, adding a little bit more breadth to talk a little bit more about Ayurveda and psychotherapy, how Ayurveda has looked at it, and Bhagavad Gita has looked at it. So broaden that element, and teaching this curriculum is helping me learn more and grow more, and I owe that to all of you. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you, Puneetji. Puneetji and Mangalaji and Mukundji, Mukundji is also a board member and a resident faculty. And he's unable to take today's meeting, but he's looking forward to meeting you in the classes. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing, and you're going to get a lot of little knowledge about a lot of things in this course. And Puneetji and Mangalaji have routinely reminded us in the board that we are equipping people with a lot of dangerous things. So it is very important that having taken one lecture or one course in counseling does not make us a counselor, and we shouldn't do not try this at home kind of thing. So the limits of our learning will also be explained. Puneetji is very careful about that, and it is important that all of us pay attention to that. We will learn a lot of things, but we have to be patient with our own ability to apply those. Nandkishorji, do you want to say a few words? He speaks very silently, especially on mute. Nandkishorji, you're still on mute.
Yeah, this normally happens. Thank you. Namaste, everybody. I would like to welcome everybody to this excellent program that you will enjoy, as I did. And with this program, teaches us a lot of things and initiates us in different areas of life that we might have missed throughout our career. So you might be coming from any branch of knowledge. You will always get something new here. And this is just an initiation, as Gauravji said, that it opens the path to everything. So it depends upon you, how you take it and how you develop on it. But I would say that you take an interest and do it completely and do it properly, you will learn a lot of things. And the last thing I would tell everybody that around 50 to 60% of the candidates have already submitted their credentials. But those who have not yet submitted, please forward them as soon as possible. Your highest degree certificate, your photo, a passport size photo, and 8 to 10 lines of your total experience of professional, academic, and community service experience. That's what is needed. And if you send 2-page biodata, that's also fine, but you better make it a small narrated one so that we can use it in future. Thank you very much. And I welcome you again and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Anand Kishorji. With this, we open up for comments.
I want to add, Gauravji,
Ji, Kailash.
just the last couple of touch points, then we can open up. Okay?
Yes,
Hello?
please. Yes.
Yeah, I think the couple of points I want to mention that the two things that I think I want to highlight for all of us is that one is that we embrace two concepts. Of course, the Vedic tradition, the wisdom and Karma Yoga, you already heard enough about that. We also decided that we want to capture the best practices from other traditions, because I think they have done probably much better work in community service. The Christianity, the Jewish, now the Muslims have followed up. And so this chaplaincy concept, for example, has been universally adopted. We are a little bit slow on that. We decided we should be very intellectually honest and accept that there's a lot of learning to be done. So you're going to see in the course, a lot of interfaith people coming in and telling you the great stories and the inside stories. You'll enjoy them and see how we embrace some of their ideas, for example, and we respect that. Interfaith respect is very big in our menu. And the other thing is we embrace technology openly. And that's why we dare to talk about a global network of 1,000 people. You could not conceive of that 10 years ago. We're going to see this happening now as I speak to you. Next year, we'll have 350 to 400 people in the HCI network in about 8 countries. And that has continued to grow. And so the reality is that we are very open to accepting technology. And we'll talk about the services, online services, the platform. There's a lot of things that are happening. So interfaith learning and technology are two other dimensions of HCI that we feel are benefiting us and our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Kailash. I should add that nothing invites more controversy than the word Hindu chaplain, and it invites controversy for the exact reasons that you think it is. Both the words are controversial. Every week since we began, we meet people who say everything is great, but why have the word Hindu there? And the other word is, and that's from one end of the population. And the other end of the population says, all this is great, but why have the word chaplaincy there? Because this sounds like you're crypto Christians or something. And the answer is no. We are just modern people that are aware of how things and rules and words change meaning over time. That's in fact the whole essence of the Gita, which is no firm rules. You have to understand the space, time, and context in which you operate. The word chaplain, I'll begin with, is simply this. Computers were once people. There were women there were banks of women sitting there doing computation work for the Second World War. They were computers. And later, when machines were invented to replace that work, those machines were called computers. And now you don't think of computers as human, but they were once human. And it's the same as chaplains. Chaplains used to be Christian, but now there are Islamic chaplains, Buddhist chaplains, Jain chaplains, Jewish chaplains, and a few Hindu chaplains. And eventually this is going to be the greater part of who is a chaplain. Our expectation is that with the breadth and richness of the Hindu tradition and how well it's been preserved and articulated, and how deeply it applies to modern living, as you will learn in this course, Hindu chaplains will stand out as the benchmark for chaplaincy, just the way Indian engineers or Indian doctors stand out. It's simply that we are so good, or Indian hoteliers for that matter. It's simply that our tradition uniquely allows us to be better at it, and we will stand out as outstanding reference candidates in this field. We're 100% confident of that. Why you use the word Hindu is another thing that comes up. I don't think I need to belabor the point here. You wouldn't be here if this was an Indian counseling course. You're here because this is a counselor of Hindu tradition course. And that's just what it is. It is the name that other people use for our tradition. We call it Sanatan Dharma, but it's the name we just need. It's a handle. It's not our being. And we are proud of being Hindu. And we are happy to put that first in the name of our institute and in our course as well. So that's I wanted to say that upfront. And Ramya ji, I do notice your comment. I have no disagreement with your comment. We are in our personal lives, we all have the intellectual Kshatriya hat that we wear in all the other organizations that we participate in. We are not shy, but at HCI, our position is a position of strength and pride. And that's what I was saying. All right, now for your questions, comments, feedback. If you're excited, you let us know. If you're nervous, you let us know. And if you're confused, you let me know. On the side. You can unmute yourself, turn your video on, and say a few words. We'd love to hear from you.
Are you going to have to invite people to start talking, Gaurav?
Nishtaji, please go ahead.
I'll get started.
Yeah, you can raise your hand by pressing the reactions thing, and I'll remember to see your sequence. Nishtaji, please go ahead.
Anji, I had actually two questions. One is there like a global WhatsApp group of the cohorts who have already graduated, so that if we have a situation which occurs where we're asked to help somebody, like I have a situation right now, just to get their feedback and so on. And secondly, is it possible to find out where everybody is located so that we can create maybe like chapters or satellite type groups?
Yeah.
Those were my two comments or questions.
Great questions. There is a WhatsApp group for people that have graduated as CHTs. It'll be 9 months to get there, but the FAs are going to be in the WhatsApp group for this cohort, which means if you ever have a question, there's about 20 of us that will be in this group infiltrating the conversations. So we'd be happy to answer those questions for you within this group as well. So you have access to everyone through this. The other question you had is, do we know where everyone is? We will make that information available as we do the cohort analysis and let that be available. You're in Southern California, right, Nishtaji? So there's a lot of people in Southern California.
Yeah, we are, but Southern California is so spread out. So yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sure thing. All right. Thank you. All right. Next, somebody had raised their hand. Yes, Badrinathji, please.
Yeah, my name is Badrinath. I'm reporting from India. So at this juncture, I think whatever brief introductions that have been given by entire team of HCI, I'm pretty comfortable. And in my mind, at least I'm prepared where I'm heading towards. So thanks for the briefing. That's all from my end.
Thank you and welcome.
Well, I just wanted to tell you that we had, just to give you one data point, in this last cohort, 3 people from India graduated, very outstanding people. And so we'll connect them to you also. So I think we want to grow the India sense of this concept, India. And I think we believe that urban areas may benefit from this idea. So we are just in the early stage, but I'm very happy to see you participate and hopefully be a champion of this also down the road. Thank you. Yeah.
Sangeet ji, you have questions on the masters. Is there a fast track for masters? We do have a few CHTs that are doing yoga masters as well as other masters in order to get to the chaplaincy. So just as a backdrop, the reason this question comes up is to go from here to the chaplaincy course, you need to be a master's. It's a requirement from their side. Masters plus CHT is what they want. And they'll accept it in any order as long as you have both. And so some people are doing masters at GTU itself. There are some people who are doing masters. You can start your masters now and finish it by the time you graduate, and that will allow you to apply for GTU. But there are some people who are doing this as well, and we'd be happy to connect you to some of those choices. Okay, Harishji, would you like to say something? You're free to unmute yourself and please speak.
Namaste, I'm Harish Asar from Mumbai, India, and I have one question, if you can permit me.
Please.
Question is to Kailash sir. Kailashji, I want to know the breakup of those 24 Sundays you said, of which 6 hours of homework, 6 hours of to serve the community, and what about other 6 hours or the rest of the 12 hours?
Oh, okay. Let me clarify for you. The 12 hours, so we said in 9 months, over the 9 months, you can expect
Okay.
commitment of 24 hours each month. So let's take November. So you'll take 20, 12 of those hours are going to be in your classroom. The class you attend 4 hours, so there'll be on average 3 classes each month, right? So that takes 12
Okay.
hours. Okay. We assume that you have to do homework now. So I think maximum, I believe homework should not take you actually more than an hour. But if it takes 2 hours, that's okay. So that takes 6 hours for that. Okay.
Okay.
That takes you to 18 hours. The remaining 6 hours are we going to figure out what would be in Mumbai, the community service you can do. So that is to be decided. What is the best community service you can do? We want you to do 6 hours every month of that service to bring you up to 24. So those are the 3 pieces. So that way you have attended the class, you have done your homework, you have paid your tuition, and you are good to go. So that is a good way to do your planning of your time management or whatever you're doing. Okay, Hareshji,
Okay.
is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll play Soniaji's question. Soniaji's question was, do you need masters in a specific subject to be considered for the interreligious chaplaincy program? And the answer is no, that is not there is no specific subject that they require, just a master's degree with a PhD course.
I think I might ask Gauravji, masters, a law degree, a MD, medical degree, all of those professional degrees are also eligible very clearly. PhD in any fields also. It has to be master's equivalent or higher is what they require alongside the CHT, and you'll be admitted to the chaplaincy course.
Yeah. I did want to share the academic schedule from last year. This is in answer to Harish Bhai's question, which is you're going to get your version as well. This is the certificate that you're going to get at the end of August next year. And again, if you blink, you will miss all the excitement, and next thing you know, you're receiving the certificate. And then each Sunday schedule is detailed here. You can see what we want, what who the faculty is, and what's being approached, and so on. So you're going to get your version with the dates for your course. Right. Any other questions, comments, or feedback?
Just to add, Gauravji, I think on Moodle also they'll have the lesson plan and objectives.
Good point. Yeah, Moodle should be talked about a little bit, Gauravji.
Yeah, so we use a learning management system called Moodle, which is generally well known. It's used by many universities worldwide, and you'll be getting your own login, and you will get the whole schedule, and whatever I showed you will be available over there, and you'll be able to look at the recording. So a little bit more. The sessions are all going to be recorded. They're of course here they're live, but we will record everything. Everything will be available on the learning management system. And also the presentations and the homeworks, everything is there on Moodle. So if you miss a class, don't worry about it. You're going to be able to see it online. And you'll be able to catch up with homework in no time. Nishthaji, you have a question or comment?
Yes, sorry, I forgot to ask earlier. I just looked at the courses that you just sent. And my focus is the interfaith as well as the LGBTQ community. So I would like to, be an ally for the parents and do stuff in that area. Is there a way we can request to have certain subjects added, or where we explore Hinduism within that context?
Sure, yeah. And I will use Kailashji's line. You build it and we will do it. So no helpful suggestions are requested. If you want it, help us add it and we will add it.
Perfect. I will definitely take that on. Thank you.
I think, by the way, let me just come back. I think we had in our discussion, interview, whatever we had together, you had brought that up, and I think I mentioned to you, what we look for is in our community of CSTs, faculty, anybody, we don't want them to come and drop 3 ideas on our table. We have so many ideas going, it's not even funny. But if you say, I have done some homework, I have a lecture prepared for on this topic for 1 hour, never go more than an hour, hour and a half, because we are very tight on our time management of those 4 hours. Then either Gauravji, I, or one of the faculties will look at your proposal and say, you know something, this is a very good topic. I think we should fit it in. So make sure you bring bona fide material, bona fide speakers, because authenticity is very important to us. We don't want to present things that are hearsay. So it will be good to have some authentic data backing it up. Bring it to me, bring it to Gaurav, any of the resident faculty or the faculty associates, and say, I have a proposal, but please do your homework before you come. And we'll be very welcoming to accommodating it. I just want to add that to Gauravji's point. Thank you.
Yeah,
And if you could provide a template, if we are interested in a proposal, if you could provide a template of what you can put in, interject within the instructional design material, that would be great. And I will definitely take that on. Thank you.
Thank you,
The template is you and I or you and Gaurav will talk on the phone and we develop quickly a template for you.
Okay,
It's
perfect.
all good. We got you covered there.
Perfect.
Ramyaji, I know you've turned the video on, so do you wish to speak?
Namaste. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Ramya Tadacharya. And just to give some context, I recently graduated from my master's in counseling psychology, and I have been accruing the experience hours required for my licensure as a marriage and family therapist. And I also want to say that earlier career was post-MBA career that I have. So I bring in all of this with me. And I think from my conversation with Kailashji, I think Kailashji was able to see that I have a bit of a scholar in me. I have a bit of therapist in me. I have a bit of activist in me. So I bring this eclectic mix, and I just want to set the stage, because you may be seeing me engage quite a bit during class discussions, wearing different hats. Thank you.
Sure.
That will be very, very stimulating and very welcome. Okay. All right.
We're looking forward to it. All right. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, we will do the closing prayers and end today's session. Mahalakshmi ji, please.
Yes, Hari Om, Namaste, everybody. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to all of you for organizing us and even putting this orientation together. There is a lot of information that has come our way. And right from the beginning, I've just been very impressed with how everything was done in terms of getting us going, interviews, and all of that. So I'm looking forward to it and hoping to contribute as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ratnaji, you wish to say something? And Bharti
Yeah, I want to add to the last comment. Yes, you guys were totally into it and then following up and taking care of things, and was totally impressed, and I'm eagerly looking forward for the class next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bharti ji?
Yeah, I'm curious actually. I'm very curious because never heard of such curriculum.
Yeah, it has never.
And after so many years, I'll be doing a homework. So I'm literally.
It'll be a good experience.
It's not scary. Please don't.
No, it's
scared,
not
okay?
scary. It's scary. I'm literally looking forward to it.
Okay.
On your first comment, when you don't know anything, it's wonderful what you can create. So we came at it by not knowing anything and creating something that we think the community needs. So it's from scratch.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Any other comments? Otherwise, we will do the closing prayers. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina.
Gauravji, before you close, I would like to tell everybody, all participants, that if you see your email, the first email I sent you, a letter of acknowledgement, that has all the documents that Gauravji has shown you. You have to use that. It is in your system, and I have again sent it at the interview link, with the interview link. So you have it twice. So you can read it completely and you will get more information. Thank you.
And we hope you've all joined the WhatsApp group. It's also in the link in the email, in my emails as well. Just click that link on your phone. You'll be automatically added to the WhatsApp group. It's important because emails, you may not catch them. WhatsApp is a little more urgent. All right, with that, let's close. So please sit comfortably. I'm going to mute everyone to avoid getting. All right, good. All right, sit comfortably, sitting in any comfortable posture with your back straight. Back, neck, and head in a straight line. Close your eyes gently and relax the expression on the face. Gently pull up your shoulders and suddenly let go. Just relax your shoulders. Relax your belly. Slow your breath down, breathing into the belly first. And relaxing into this closing prayer as you exhale. Bring the palms together in Namaskar Mudra at the heart center, pressing the palms together gently, touching the fingers together gently, gently touching the back of the thumbs into the chest. Now bring your attention to the hollow space between the palms. We're going to chant Om 3 times and then the closing prayers, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Exhale completely, take a deep breath. Inhale. Om. Inhale and listen to your Om chant. Inhale. Inhale. Inhale and chant. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bend forward in a deep sense of surrender. Come back up, breathing in. Rub your palms together to generate some heat and gently cup your eyeballs to transfer that heat. Massaging the face and the neck. And now blinking, open your eyes and pull your palms back like an open book. Namaskar. Namaskar and welcome to this course. Have a good rest of your Sunday and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Everybody. Have a wonderful week. See you in class next week. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste.